and welcome to this special episode of the Forza World podcast. Episode 17, Aaron.
17.
17. I don't know if that number stands for anything, but yeah, we've got a pretty chaotic episode ahead of us.
It's going to be a very chaotic episode.
Yep. This is easily, I would say, the most negative episode we're ever going to have.
I agree.
Is upon us right now.
I agree.
Because Forza Motorsport has released, as I'm sure everybody is aware.
Yep.
And it is a hot, steaming plate of garbage.
God, it's so bad. It is a literal dumpster fire of a game.
Yeah, like this is...
And that's a compliment.
Yeah. I'm sure if you're listening to this at home, you've already heard by now just how bad this is. You've come across it. You've seen something. This isn't a secret. This is something I think we predicted. If you go back and you've been listening to the show, we've talked about this, that this is a possibility that could reflect Forza Motorsport 5.
Yeah.
But I got news for you. Forza 5 looks better than this.
Oh, yeah.
It looks better than this.
Yeah.
This looks like it was drawn up with a couple Crayola crayons, or the pencil crayons with the sharpener in the back of the fucking box.
Yeah.
That's what this is like. I don't know,
Not
man.
even a good sharpener. Just
no. God,
a
no.
semi-dull piece of plastic.
This is going to be
off.
a ride. This is going to be a ride. And if you're a fan of our negative shows and our negative elements, whatever, you're going to love this. We actually don't have the regular segments today, though. So we're not going to be doing Fuck That Car. We're not going to be doing my famous complaint corner because there's just no time. And honestly, I don't want to bring the negativity to like a depressing low because...
What we're going to be talking about in this episode is already very depressing.
It's going to be funny.
It's funny, but it's depressing.
It's going to be funny, but
it's
like if you're truly as much of a fan as we are of this franchise, you hoped that it was going to be something spectacular. You hoped that it was like 70% of what they were talking about. I think that's a realistic expectation. With a lot of the previous game releases, I think that's probably where it was about. It's where it ended up. I don't know.
I'd say maybe 20%.
I don't even know.
20% of what we were promised.
We'll get into our itinerary.
Yes.
And what I'll lead with saying is I can't see myself buying this game for at least the next month. I bought it and then found out I couldn't play it actually on my Xbox. So I had to get refunded. I had the displeasure of playing it on your Xbox for half hour.
About a half hour, yeah.
I would pay $2 for this game as of right now.
Yeah.
And that is, the same price as a lot of mobile games. That's what I would compare it with right now, is Real Racing 3.
There you go.
To be honest.
Yep.
So let's get into the itinerary. Let's get into the show. Forza Motorsport, first game released in 2 years. First motorsport in what, 6?
6 years, over 6 years.
6 years.
Yeah. It's been 6 years since we've had a motorsport game, and this is what we get. So itinerary-wise...
Really quick.
Yes.
The beverage of choice, because we do want to keep a little bit of our own flavor in this. Aaron is drinking a...
maple whiskey?
Some maple French whiskey, which is very good. And I'm going to...
I'm not even going to bother trying to pronounce this.
Yep. I have some Caesar, which is...
Bloody Mary?
Yeah, that's it. The Americans call it a Bloody Mary. So I'm going to have this. You have to shake it because it's not carbonated.
Yeah. But it's not a real Bloody Mary because
it has
clamato juice.
Clam juice.
Rather than...
Sounds gross, but it's actually pretty good.
It is very
Somebody
good.
has dropped this thing, by the way. It's wobbling around. This can has been dropped. But yeah, tomato juice, clam juice.
What was the flavor of that one? That was the extra flavor? Or something? You made a face.
One with some beans. This is pretty good, actually. I don't know what the hell. Oh, it's got horseradish in it.
Oh, that sounds pretty good.
This sounds like it should be absolute dog shit, but it's actually really good. It's like all these things I don't really like that much on their own.
So it's the opposite of Forza Motorsport.
Yes, it's like surprisingly good. It's quite literally the opposite. So I have an opposite beverage that I'm having. But let's get into the show.
Let's get into the show.
What do we got?
So first, this is a motorsport-based show. We've already gone through that.
Yes.
We're going to be going through the negatives about this game. Things that we do not like. I've been playing this game since day one, but it hasn't been since day one because I had some issues trying to launch the game with the Xbox store saying I don't own it, even though I did. Mm-hmm. But pretty much since early access came out, I've been playing this game quite consistently. I've seen a lot of things that I like. I've seen even more things that I do not like. So we're going to be starting off with the negatives. There's quite a list. We're going to be trying to narrow it down as much as possible because we could be going on for hours about this.
Yeah, we got to be succinct here. That's the key word. It's a lot.
It is a lot.
Yeah.
After the end of that, we are going to go over a couple positives about the game, and I'm going to give you my own kind of little opinion about it. Now, it's an opinion. It's not...
It's an opinion, yes.
It's an opinion, yes.
It's going to be a lot of negativity. Do you want to sandwich this? Do you want to lead with a positive right now before we get into everything else? Do we want to like...
Do you want to start
on a high note and then just fucking knock it down? like what do you think? I think we probably should. There's very few positives, but we'll give one.
There you go. So positive number one, and I'm sure that you've heard about this before if you've been on social media in any way whatsoever. Mm-hmm. The physics in this game are absolutely phenomenal.
Yep.
They did an incredible job with it. The way that the vehicles feel on controller is flawless.
I'm doing a lot of hand motions.
I'm doing a lot of hand gestures. They're flawless. I'd agree. Absolutely no complaints with the physics of this game. And a lot of people, when they played Motorsport 7, they had issues with the way it felt. One of the things that they went through during some of the showcases, they mentioned how many points of contact there are in the new game, how the suspension model has changed, how the tire model has changed, how the tire temperature and the track temperature and the wind direction and all that stuff affect the feel of the vehicle over the track. I completely agree. It is fantastic.
Yeah.
And when you change little things about the car, you feel a difference. You actually feel a difference in the way the vehicle drives. With every single other Forza game, whether it's Horizon or Motorsport, if you take a stock vehicle and throw the race weight reduction, you wouldn't feel the weight reduction. The car would feel quicker, but you wouldn't feel the weight difference.
And the balance.
And the balance. Yeah. In the new Motorsport game, you feel it. You feel it on turn-in, you feel it on braking, you feel it on acceleration. You can feel the weight difference. I hate to say it, but that's the only reason why I'm playing this game.
Yeah.
Is because it feels so good. And you can tell playing this game on controller that it was built for wheel. It was 100% built for a wheel and pedal setup.
Yeah. You know, the steering on a controller feels a lot like the old settings when you set it to simulation.
Yeah.
And simulation difficulty was made for wheel, was my understanding.
Yeah.
So it seems like that was improved, but ironically, all of the steering as a whole is better.
Yes.
Does that make sense? I know there's been some people who don't like it. I think it's better. Preference aside, I think it's a better way to do it.
I'm sorry. If you're one of the people who don't like it, if you play the new Motorsport game and you're like, I don't like the way the steering feels, you're probably one of those guys that hops on Need for Speed Rivals and is like, yep, this is a realistic game.
Well, it's a big problem because Forza got so arcadey over the years and got away from that. I think this is closer to the steering was back in the day.
Through Horizon. Horizon was the one that ruined it. Yeah. And the problem is you get people that play Horizon thinking, the amount of times where I've been online or I've been talking to people about Forza Motorsport 4, and they're like, oh yeah, I played Forza 4, and you're like, oh, okay, cool, yeah, Fujimi Kaido was great, and they're like, what are you talking about? It was set in England.
Yeah, and you're like, oh my god. Yeah, that naming, if you just say Forza bleh, it's supposed to be Motorsport.
Yes.
Forza 6, Forza 5, Forza 4. It's, Horizon is the designation. Anyways,
other positive things. You
can save them and sprinkle them in later if you'd like.
Do you want me to do that?
There's a lot of negative stuff.
Okay, we'll do that. So we started off with a positive.
I think something we should touch on right away.
Yes,
is something a lot of people are having issues with, and that's the upgrade system.
And
to segue this, you talk about weight reduction and the impact that has on the drivability of the car. Balance changes, the way you throw it in the corners is different. The way the back end kicks out, limited grip, all that. It is beyond me that you have to unlock weight reduction as an upgrade. For stripping crap out of your car is a locked thing.
I think it's level 20, I believe.
Fucking outrageous. Yeah, please explain the nonsense that is this upgrade system, the leveling, the currency crap that you have to do.
So there's two different types of currency in this game. You have the credits, and credits are used to buy vehicles. And then you have car points, and car points are used to upgrade vehicles. Now, when you get a vehicle, if you purchase a vehicle, or if you are given a vehicle through a reward, you are given that vehicle to purchase it at level 1. It starts off at level 1. Every time you do a race, every time you finish a race, or you overtake a car, or you complete a segment and get a segment score, a track score, like in Formula 1 races where they do sectors.
Like the sectors.
Yeah.
I get what
so similar concept to that. If you have a good sector and you have, 3 or 4 perfect turns in a row, you get the highest segment score. And at that point, you start to level up the car. So you have to do a few races to level up the car to a certain point. In the career mode, it's made to be like you start out stock and then you level up the car as you go and you upgrade the car as you go and you build the car. Hence, Builder's Cup, which I get it. I still think it's kind of dumb, but the most frustrating point is the leveling. Cars max out at level 50, and you may be, through the entire series of races, through the entire championship of these 5 or 6 races, after doing the practice and after doing the race, you maybe get to level 25.
Insane.
If that, depending on how many laps you're actually doing in practice.
So how much time would it take to upgrade like everything?
So this was interesting. There are 529 cars in the game at the moment.
Okay.
People are complaining that that's not enough cars and blah, blah, blah. That's a
arguably
year and a
too
half
many.
worth of cars.
Yeah, it's arguably
That's a
too
lot of fucking cars.
Yep.
Calm down, guys. If it takes, on average, 4 hours from start to finish to upgrade one car, and I know people are going to be like, you can speed run it, you can do it in an hour. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, on average, front to back, loading screens, menus, starting races, restarting races, all of that stuff. Things where you have to pause and go to the bathroom, whatever the case is.
Yeah. Life.
Yep. On average, 4 hours per car from start to finish, level 1 to level 50. It would take 88 days of straight
Jesus
gameplay
Christ.
to upgrade every single car in the game.
And it's important to note, if you have 2 Corvette Z06s or something, or whatever it is, if you have 2 of them, you have to do that process all over again for the duplicate car.
The second one,
It's specific to that exact VIN, we'll call it.
Yep.
Which is fucking bananas.
Yeah.
Truthfully.
100%.
So I don't get that one at all.
You
The
spend
88
4
days, the 4 hours, like it's a waste of time, and it's just mindless progression.
And I'm sorry,
Mindless.
even if we cut this in half, even if it's 2 hours to fully upgrade a car to level 50, that's still over a month.
Yeah,
That's almost a month and a half of straight gameplay just leveling cars.
yeah, and
That's not designing, that's not painting, that's not tuning, that's not anything else other than driving around in circles.
what my solution was that I had proposed to you about a couple days ago when we first got wind that this was the situation, and just how stupid this actually is. The currency that you get in game that can only be used for upgrades, right? Like you have to earn that or whatever. How this should have been done, in my opinion, is scrapping this manufacturer per car stuff altogether. Completely getting rid of it. Affinity, I never really liked it that much either. It was kind of a waste of time, in my opinion. It was an extra achievement, in my opinion. Save you some more money, but it never mattered because they give you $5 million when you boot up the game. So who the hell cares? So,
Accurate.
Right? My proposed solution for the nonsense that is this upgrade crap is use the points that you earn for upgrades however the fuck you want. And you have to be very smart and you have to be very selective with what you pick because you don't get these points often. And that's the end of it. You can use it however you want, because I got news for you. If the stuff you need to unlock to build a proper drag setup is at the very end, that's kind of annoying, right? Drift guys are drift guys, drag guys are drag guys, GT guys are GT guys. And all those upgrades and the needs that come along with them are totally different. So the upgrade patterns and everything are scattered and stupid and make no sense. You should be able to pick what you want to upgrade when you want to upgrade it.
Correct.
Right? I still like the idea of earning it and the progression, but this is the absolute wrong way. Biggest meathead decision, bozo move I've ever seen. Like, again, dude, why even change what you had before? They're changing things that shouldn't need to be changed, and things are being neglected that are like, it's that one meme with the fucking skeleton in the bottom of the pool. Like, and then the kid swimming on the top. Like, God damn it. Update your car models. Why are you fumbling around with like the logistics of upgrading cars? Nobody ever asked for that or said it was a problem. Insane to me, man.
Yeah. No, I agree. Speaking of upgrades and unlocking certain upgrades, Forza Horizon 5, we had offset adjustments where we could increase the track width of the tires to fit that profile of the car a lot better. And a lot of people loved it. including myself, I think it makes the cars look better, especially with some of the old muscle cars.
Yeah.
Where you have about 4.5 inches of space between the body line of the car and the outside of the wheel.
Yes.
I think that's stupid. And being able to fix that makes the cars look a lot better and it makes them perform a lot better. You cannot do offset adjustments.
Yeah,
in the new
that's
game.
insane. I'm sure the tuners are pissed about that. Right,
Yeah.
pissed. Because that's a big tuning selection.
Oh, yeah.
Really,
Big,
right?
big
Like that's
selection.
kind of a basic, even if you don't really know what you're doing, you're going to do a little bit of offset stuff.
Yeah.
I'm sure the drifters would be pissed too, actually.
Yep. Another thing, the Forza Aero hasn't changed. So
Tuning elements, yeah.
the Forza Aero, specifically in the front bumper and the rear wing, are unchanged. Keep in mind, this has been the same since Forza Motorsport 2
Really?
from 2007.
So you're saying like the interface or like
No. The visuals, what they look like. So the
appearance.
wing, the appearance of that rear wing and the appearance of the front splitter on all of the cars for the Forza Aero
kit.
has been unchanged since Forza Motorsport 2.
And the tuning capabilities along with that, it's just front and rear, right? That's it.
Downforce.
Yeah, but that's not like you can adjust the canards relative to the front splitter, the rear diffuser, and the rear wing. It's
Correct.
just front and rear.
Yeah.
So not a thing has changed in 15 years?
Yeah. Yeah, 15 years.
I'm sick.
I know.
It's not because of the Caesar.
No, it's disgusting. There are so many quality of life issues.
I want to throw out a fun fact. Another thing that's been
yes.
unchanged since Motorsport 3, is the rewind feature.
Correct.
I learned that recently. I was disgusted by that.
Yep.
Actually.
And the replay feature. Like the replays haven't changed.
Yeah. It's crazy. The drone
same
stuff that you have in Horizon, not being able to bring that to the replay feature is insane to me as well.
Like the camera modes. The camera modes in the replay function have not changed. It's 30
Rear
frames a
pan,
second.
front pan,
Yeah,
helicopter, where it just spins around you.
Oh, I know. It's stupid. And I wish I could use another word for that, but we would get banned if I used another word for that.
Well,
So I cannot.
we've said worse.
Well,
But no, it is ridiculous. You think about how easy it is to share content these days and how they probably want people posting stuff on social media and YouTube. Clearly YouTube.
Yeah.
I don't understand why they don't give video people more tools. I would do more video if it was easier.
God, yeah, 100%.
But it's too difficult. So it's pretty annoying.
The upgrade system stinks with the car points, with everything. But also, while you're upgrading it, in every motorsport game that I've played, extensively at least, you can rotate the vehicle around when you're upgrading it.
Yeah, you get a look at
Of what the
everything.
car looks like with body
especially
kits
wheels.
or whatever. Yeah, wheels
is huge.
How dish those wheels are. You can't move the vehicle around in the new motorsport while you're
like there's
upgrading.
no view.
There's no movement. It gives you a standard view and that's it.
Oh dear. That's
So
not
with
good.
wheels, you're looking square onto
Well,
the
how
wheel.
are you supposed to tell how dish they are?
You don't.
Oh my god.
Or you buy it and then you look at it from a different angle and then you think, I don't like that. And then you have to go back and reselect a wheel.
Jeez, I didn't even know that.
Yep.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah, this is like so far all the stuff the drifters are gonna hate.
And
Like they'll hate that.
the thing is, there's so many little tiny things like that with the engine revving when you do upgrading, like in
That
Horizon
was great
5.
for checking out the exhaust and
Yep.
even little
Induction
subtle
noise,
things. Exactly.
Turbo
Yep.
noise,
Yep.
superchargers, anything like that. Any upgrade that you do that will change the way the vehicle sounds, you want to know what it's like. But you can't do that. The paint and vinyl editor and design editor and stuff like that stinks because you're in this stupid gray void.
I heard
And the lighting
people
is
are
awful.
pissed about the vinyl editor. I heard people are not happy with that.
And
I
you
don't know
can't zoom
why,
in.
but yeah, it's a zoom. That's right.
You can't zoom into the vehicle.
So that's the big thing is, for those at home, if there's ever been a time when you've done some sort of vinyl work on a car, like I'm not a big vinyl guy. I've never been good with the interface. Side note, the interface has always been garbage. People have just mastered a garbage interface.
Yep.
But that's a different story for a different day. There's still points when you have to zoom in to see if like lines are connecting. And if like a black gloss strip is like actually going to the back of a car or into a panel or something, right? You have to check that out, dude.
Yeah.
Because you get it on the road and you realize, oh, I missed the spot. Whatever.
Or you go to take a picture of it and you're like, whoa, that looks
This
terrible.
looks terrible. Exactly. So I bet you those guys are right mad about that, as they should be. I heard it's very clunky.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of it. The fact that this is kind of changing directions. Back in Motorsport 4, we had what was called Auto Vista, remember?
Oh, do I ever? Yeah, Auto Vista was great because Jeremy Clarkson did the narration.
Yep.
4 and parts of 5.
I think 4 and parts of 5, yeah.
Yeah. It was sick. It was awesome. But it was just cool to like step around some of these cars and get a really deep, detailed look at some of them.
Yep.
You know, like the one that sticks out to me for sure is McLaren F1.
Oh,
that was always cool. You open it up, the gold engine bay, and it was cool. It was just cool, right?
For me, it was the LFA.
Yeah, the LFA was sick too. And you could rev them.
Yep.
Yeah, it was beautiful. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
I remember that.
The Forza, because they changed it to Forza Vista.
Yep.
In Horizon 2. Was it Horizon 2 or Motorsport 5?
I thought it was Motorsport 5.
Motorsport 5.
Doesn't matter. They changed it.
Yeah, they changed it to Forza Vista. And since then, it's been pretty decent. You've been able to walk around. There are some cars that when you look at them, you can tell they either need to be remodeled or whatever the case is. You don't have full movement around the car. In this new Motorsport, this Forza Vista mode sucks ass. It is so bad.
Why though?
I haven't
played around with it.
Bad. Okay. If you've played the game,
yes.
or if you haven't played the game, and if you're thinking about buying the game or whatever the case is, you have the main vehicle in the garage. So when you select a car in any other Forza game, I'm going to use Horizon 5 as an example because that's probably what's going to be freshest on people's minds.
Yeah.
If you're in a 4GT and you go into a festival or you go into a house, you're going to be looking at that 4GT until you switch your car, right?
Yep. Yeah, it's parked there.
It's parked there.
Yep.
That's not the case with Motorsport. You have 4 garage slots. You can have 500 cars, but you only have 4 garage slots.
4 to display, yeah.
4 displayable garage slots. Those are set cars that you set yourself. So the one car that you have set in the main spot doesn't change irrelevant to what vehicle you're in unless you manually change it.
So be in a Volkswagen Beetle, but there's still like a Ferrari showing.
Yes.
Okay. And is there any way to like randomize those cars when they appear? Really?
Not that I found. Maybe there might be in some weird sub-menu of the user interface or whatever it is that, again, is absolutely terrible, which we'll get into later.
Yes.
But the fact that the Forza Vista mode is still stuck on the basic movement since Forza Motorsport 4
unacceptable.
Unacceptable.
For a game that took 6 years to make.
Is 12 years newer than Forza Motorsport 4.
Big thing. Yeah.
And you have this massive garage space. The 3 other cars that you have in the garage are in the background in actual bays, which I think looks sick. It looks really cool. If you go into the photo mode in this Forza Vista, you can pretty much fully explore this space. You can go from corner to corner. You can get a little bit closer to those 3 other vehicles you have in the bays.
Yeah.
There's an open door that you can kind of look out and see the environment, which is really cool. This space itself is beautifully designed. They did a really good job with it. But when you're walking around the vehicle, you're limited to the same basic movements of walk in a circle, like crab walk in a circle
it's
around
super
this
restrictive
car. It's
from what you were showing me. Yeah.
And then you get in the car. In every single other game, when you go to get in the car, there's an animation of you ducking down and getting in the car.
Yeah,
it's
4 had that as well.
Yeah, it's a fade to black screen now. So if you get in a car...
Oh, they don't have that?
They don't have that.
Oh my God.
So you go to get in the car and it's fade to black and then fade out. There you go, you're in the car. So you're teleporting.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah. When you're inside the car, normally you'd be able to look up, look down, look to
when
the
you use
side.
when you use the right joystick, it's like you turn your head.
You can look around the
look
car.
Look down, look up. Yeah,
exactly.
Yep.
When you're in the car, you can start the car. You can rev the car.
Side note, I always loved the startup animations with the dash and everything like that. It was
the way
really
the dashboard lit up and all that stuff.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was really cool. They took all that out. It's just gone. So you can't,
I'm choking on my drink.
So you can't look around anymore. You can't look around the vehicle. You have a basic horizontal side-to-side movement.
So then what the hell is the point of Forza Vista?
Oh, there isn't.
What's the point? To walk around a car that's poorly done, that there's no animations, everything's a fade. It like very clearly isn't about you walking around the car. The cool thing about 4, we always go back to that, but it is really the benchmark that you have to exceed, right? The whole point of that was to use Kinect and pretend you were opening the door handle and everything. If you want to use a controller, you could use a controller, but that was the point of that specific experience. What's annoying is hearing that, like, I didn't know that's true. I knew there was some restrictive stuff, but if there's no animations for the startup and you don't get to see all of the lights and everything start up the way the actual car would and everything illuminate, if I can't hear the car, I can't rev the car.
Nope.
Why is that
feature in the game?
If you even want to call it that, in the game? Who the hell is going to use that?
Yeah.
Nobody.
I know.
I don't think it was that much of a used feature to begin with, other than the photo space, right? What's the point?
And okay, another thing. I find this hilarious. If you're in the standard, B-roll footage of the car, of the camera panning around the garage and stuff like that, the car's facing one way. As soon as you go into a Forza Vista, it starts facing another way.
Oh my God. And I'm sure it's like a worse, not the way you want it to be as well.
It's pretty much the complete opposite. It's like a 180.
Lovely.
Yeah. And it looks terrible. The lighting makes it look so bad.
Oh, you showed me some bad cars.
I showed you some bad cars.
Bad cars in that setting. Yeah.
The 911 Speedster for one.
Tell the ladies and gentlemen about the 911 Speedster, because I've had the displeasure of seeing this, and it's not good.
911 Speedster, the new 991.2 911 Speedster is in Motorsport. I'm excited for it to be in Motorsport, but whoever did the scanning of the 911 Speedster has their head on backwards because they backed this car into a campfire before they took scans of the vehicle. Like the entire back of the car is black, like it's covered in soot.
Yeah, it does look like that.
It looks
coal powered.
So bad. It does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like you took it through one of those automatic car washes, but then left it on the dryer portion for too long in the back. It looks like that too. It's just some proper blackening of the back.
You try and take off the badges with one of those heat guns, but you just leave it in one spot for too long and it burns the back of it.
Pretty much, man.
Yeah.
It looks
so bad.
Terrible. And I don't know how this is a passable car.
And
don't understand.
What's even worse is when you explode the car, that rear cover for the roof, for the hood, however you want to call it.
Yeah, the rear cover thing.
It comes up so you can fold that roof or hood away. The roof doesn't move, so when you fold up that back cover, it completely clips through.
Yeah, it does. You're right.
The rear cover.
You're right. So
it completely clips through.
Not only does it clip through the rear cover, but it actually solves that like blackening issue at the back, because it becomes apparent what this is it's just the shadow from the cover projecting itself
onto the back. So
the back, but through the back.
Yeah.
And that's why you have that issue.
Yeah.
Which is insane to me. How you don't catch that.
What I find interesting in all of the convertibles, and okay, I don't want to say all the convertibles, all of the convertibles that I have gotten into and explored around Forza Vista, you can't put the roof up or you can't take the roof down.
Right.
You can't do anything. In Forza Vista, I'm not even talking about driving.
Yeah.
In Forza Horizon 5, there are some convertibles where you can take the roof down and drive around in. That's not in the game, but that's a Horizon thing. I don't really care about motorsport. Yeah, it's whatever.
Yeah.
In Forza Vista,
where it should matter.
Where you are getting up close and personal with these cars, they look like absolute dog shit.
Yep.
Cue McLaren F1 headlights.
Oh, don't even get me started on that. That could be complaint corner in of itself.
They are so bad. The interior of the Lexus LC500 is completely different than the interior of the Lexus LC500 in Forza Horizon 5.
Yes.
Completely different. Why? I know for a fact you copy and pasted the model.
Yeah.
You didn't do any work to that.
I do want to add something related to models, by the way.
Okay. Yep.
So, for everybody listening at home, yes, we promise this would be a negative show, and it has been so far. Hope you're enjoying it. But the modeling, this is something we talked about a couple episodes back on the show, about the modeling, and specifically for Horizon back then, right? We were like, all of these models that we're using for specifically the Italian update, these are copy pasted. This is a copy and pasted fucking shit show, frankly. And we got some pushback on that. We had a couple people say, it's not true. It's hard to source cars, and we rescan them every time. Something Forza touted a lot too for Motorsport was, we're taking some time with this game. We're delaying the release because we want to get this right. We want to rescan cars, and it's a very involved process.
Yeah.
Well, how do you explain that a game on a 360 has more headlight detail than a game that you took 6 years on? because that's
Oh,
crazy
yeah.
to me. The McLaren F1 having headlights that pathetic looking, where
Yeah.
it looks like I made it in a CAD class in grade 10 is insane. It should never happen. It's very clear that they're copy and pasting old models with no tweaks done to them. It's fine if you got the old models. I'm sure there's upgrades. It's not like you just scan it and that's it.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's little tweaks you can make and details you can add and whatever, right? I'm not a designer, but I'm lazy. In game recognized game, this is the laziest piece of crap I've ever seen. They're pasting everything. Yeah. It's a parts bin special all around. You're using stuff that was for 360 consoles, I think. Well, sure as hell looks like
100%. The models of a lot of the vehicles, the Volkswagen Golf R32.
Yeah, rip through your list of what looks
Nissan,
bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what
because you can
looks
check these
bad?
cars out if you've got this game. I'm sure a lot of you do. So
100%.
you can check these out.
So for one, McLaren F1, that's a given.
That's the worst one I've seen.
That's the worst one I've seen. The 2019 Carrera S, which came out in Horizon 4.
Yes.
So it's a newer car, still looks bad.
Yes.
The Volkswagen Golf R32, which is an old model, which that's looked bad for a while. The Nissan Skyline R32 GTR, again, old model, still looks bad. The Nissan Silvia S15, old model, still looks bad. Basically, any car that you have seen that was featured in Forza Motorsport 4 or older and, has looked the same since is going to look just as bad.
Because it's the same.
Because it's the same model.
Yeah.
Now, positive note, they did rescan an car.
Whoop-de-whoop. Which was it?
It was the 22B, the Subaru 22B.
I like the 22B, but I'm not going to drive that much.
You can tell, though.
Looks good?
It looks really good. The proportions, huge difference.
Really?
Huge
Because I always
difference.
felt it did feel a little off or something.
Yeah,
There's something weird about it. Specifically the front.
Yeah.
So
the
something
front
off.
looks completely
cool.
different.
Headlights look good?
Headlights look accurate. It looks like an actual GC8 Integra.
Who says we don't say positive things on the show?
Did I just say Integra? I did. GC8 Impreza.
Whatever. Positive note. That was a positive. All right, back to roasting this game.
Yes.
This absolute dog water, hot garbage pizza, Kevin Malone beans spilling all over the ground game.
I know. We're running out of new things to say, or good things to say, I should.
Yeah, it's a short.
It is. It's a very short list. So a couple other things that I do not like in this game.
Quickly.
Yes.
The preview of the car that was in an accident.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of terrible car models and car previews, just set the stage for everybody really quick.
Okay.
Just line that one up.
Imagine you save up some money and you want to buy a nice hypercar for yourself.
Okay.
You've spent several hours playing this game. You've leveled up a couple cars and you think, you know what? I want to treat myself. I want to buy myself a nice Italian hypercar.
Yes.
And you're kind of humming and hawing between an Aventador J and the Aventador SVJ. And if you're Jason, you're picking the Aventador J.
Yeah.
But if you're 90% of the population that plays Forza, which means you're 12 years old, you're picking the SVJ.
Yeah. Most would. Yeah.
Most would. Unfortunately for you, that vehicle has a salvage title in the menus. It has been in a front-end collision. They did not have insurance.
No insurance. The guy hit and run.
It was a hit and run. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if it was some dude with like an 08 Silverado that backed into it with the 5.3.
With the hitch.
Yeah, with a
directly
hitch,
to the
trailer
car.
hitch.
What Aaron is getting at is the preview for this on like the preview screen in my cars or when you're buying a car.
Yep.
Literally looks like this thing was in a front end collision.
Yep.
The panel gap is the size of the size of Portugal between this car. It is absolutely insane.
And
that
none of
this
the
was
other
approved.
cars look like that.
I haven't seen any of that. There's like maybe some that don't look great, but this one looks mangled.
A lot of the older cars with those round headlights, those kind
Specifically think old minis.
of old minis or old muscle cars.
Yeah.
They're black.
Yeah, they're just like this weird black gloss for the headlight. It's ridiculous. But this Aventador,
It's like they're wearing like sunglasses.
yeah, this Aventador though.
Yeah.
I'm doing the Italian hand motion for what the fuck. I like something pasta. That panel gap is fucked. Like somebody approved that.
Yep.
And whoever that was that meme of the guy where his eyes are pointed the two different ways and he's wearing the old like pilot's hat.
Oh, yeah. You're thinking Crazy Eyes from Mr. Deeds.
Correct.
Yeah.
That, I believe, is their final boss, final approval guy at Turn 10 right now. Because I don't know who the hell was thinking of that. But let's move it on. That was just one of my gripes. If you got an SVJ, go check out the previews in your My Car section. And
SVJ, yeah.
Yeah, line up about 5 minutes of your day just to laugh at that hysterically because it's ridiculous.
I honestly, looking at some of the other things that I've captured in this game, it genuinely does look like Steve Buscemi approved most of this stuff.
Yeah, that looks good to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't believe it.
Okay, yeah.
What else we got on the list?
What else do we have on the list, Jason? Oh, let me tell you.
Mm-hmm.
The AI.
Oh my, okay.
So this is a big point for me. One of the things that they mentioned during one of the Xbox showcases was how they improved the AI.
Yes, that's true.
So they talked about how in previous Forza games, the Drivatar system had a limited number of driving lines, a limited number of, the way that the Drivatar used the brakes, the way that they used the acceleration, the steering, all of that stuff. It was an all or nothing basis. So that's why when you see them brake, their brake lights look like they're having a seizure and they're just flickering on and off.
Because it's 100, 0, 100, 0, 100, 0, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Why were they talking about that?
Because they changed it.
Oh, this is what it previously was.
This is what it was before.
Okay, yeah.
This is what it was before. They changed it so that it's a little bit more linear. They're going to take the driving. They have, I think it was, what did they say? I think it was like 19 different driving lines that they have available for each corner of the game, which when you think about it, that's a lot of corners on a lot of tracks.
Yep.
So 19 different lines. Sure. There's a lot of options. They failed to mention how stupid they have made these drivatars.
Yes.
And the skill gap between first place and last place is absolutely unacceptable. It is massive. Now, when I have been playing the game, I have to admit I like to win.
That's most people.
That's most people.
Yes.
I like to win. I like to better myself, but I also like to win.
Yes.
So I know for a fact if I play on the hardest difficulty 8, whatever it is, do I have the chance of winning? 100%. I know I can do it.
Yeah, but not without tuning and the right upgrades, and you got to set it perfect. It's just too much. Yeah.
Yeah. And especially with the penalty system,
yes,
you're going to be getting penalties if you're going to be getting first place on the hardest difficulty.
Yep.
Fact. Especially if you have controller, because you don't have the same amount of control when it comes to turning, when it comes to braking, when it comes to acceleration, all that stuff. So controller on the hardest difficulty without the tuning and the upgrades and all that stuff is very difficult without getting penalties. Initially, I tried it on 7.
Seems correct.
Yeah, because I thought, you know what, with all of the other motorsport games and Horizon games, I play on that one step below the highest.
Yep.
Because it still gives me a challenge, but it's not
impossible.
I get it. Yeah, exactly. Which for a while was fine, but the problem I had was if I like to start in the back half of the grid because you can choose where you start in the grid.
Which it's
I like to start in the back half because it gives me a little bit more of a challenge.
It's a new thing to Forza, picking your grid position.
Yeah.
Jury's still out whether I like that or not, but whatever. Yep.
Yep. And I know for a fact that if I start in, the top 5 or top 10 or whatever it is, if I get a good launch, I am shooting myself up to the front. And
that's the race.
That's the race. That's it. So I want to give myself a challenge because I know for a fact that I am not going to be able to jump 13, 14, 15 positions before the first corner. Irrelevant to what track it is, the traffic that you are racing through is some of the worst AI traffic I have ever seen in my life.
The dumbest.
I am trying so hard not to use words that are not supposed to be used on a podcast.
Yes, I know. It's insane. And the big thing that you got to remember, let's go back to that 19 lines, right?
Yes.
Forza also failed to mention 12 of them are like through the grass, right? So it's like, yeah, you got all these lines. They're all moronic. None of them are within the same zip code as the Apex.
No.
That's the problem.
No, they're so bad.
They're so stupid.
Yeah.
You can park yourself in the middle of the track, and there are videos of this that we can post.
Yeah.
Of just somebody just parks in an Apex and they're just ramming the back of you, ramming the back of you, ramming the back, and then that's it. And there's like no attempt to go around you. But in Gran Turismo, there is.
Oh yeah,
right. Gran Turismo, the AI like recalculates in a fraction of a second. It goes, yeah, I'm gonna go around this.
Yeah, and even to the point where they'll swerve and they'll send themselves off the track to avoid hitting you.
Yeah,
or they'll slam on the brakes and try and
they actively avoid a collision rather than just bulldozing through the obstacle.
Can.
It's insane. So for them to tout this as like a feature and this is a big upgrade and everything like that is so ludicrous because you can't get through a corner. If you're going 3 wide through a corner, like you're going to get hit.
Yeah.
100%. And with the new penalty system, I mean, it adds some annoyances, right? You get nailed on a couple of penalties where you shouldn't. I don't think it's the worst system in the world.
What, the penalties?
No, I don't think it's terrible. I don't think it's as bad as the rest of the game. I think it's tolerable. I just think that there's a lot of factors that make the penalties annoying. I don't think you can win a race without taking a decent amount of penalties at a higher difficulty.
At a higher difficulty, for sure.
I think the skill gap that you talk about between like the top couple cars and the rest of the grid is insane. Yeah. The fact that you have like second place and third place lapping cars in a 5-minute race is ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, for example, I was doing a race at Lime Rock, and Lime Rock isn't inherently a long track.
No.
And I was doing a 7-lap race. I think it was 7 laps.
Yeah, whatever. You're like 10-minute race probably.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I was battling for first place, which was a lot of fun.
Yep.
It was a lot of fun trying to get the driving line, trying to get the braking points, the acceleration, everything perfect so that I could get this pass. I passed him on lap 6 out of 7. So I took first place on lap 6. Lap 7, I lapped the last 2 places.
Outrageous.
So I made 2 overlapping passes.
On what difficulty? Like 6 or 7?
Yeah,
10?
I think it was 6 or 7. I can't remember.
Yeah, ridiculous, man. Ridiculous.
We're
shrugging.
We're shrugging.
We're shrugging. I don't know. Yeah.
No idea. What do you say after that?
Yeah, like
because if it was any harder, if I was on the highest difficulty, I probably wouldn't have taken first place.
Yeah, it's just, what this comes down to. What this comes down to for me is that these aren't bugs we're complaining about. I'm sure there's people that are going to rag on us for, you guys complain too much. No, this isn't us complaining about some obscure bug with a car where the wheels don't light up the way we want or something like that. This is anybody who plays this game for 3 minutes realizes how terrible the AI is.
Yeah.
3 minutes. And you had 6 years to work on this. It's like the 3 things I would have worked on: physics, the AI, and the career progression.
My God,
that's the 3 things I would work on. Yeah. Who cares about the graphics? Like, you can talk about graphics till the cows come home. Don't care.
Speaking of the career progression.
Yeah.
What's the name of the game we're talking about again?
This is called Forza Motorsport.
Motorsport. That's it. Oh, I almost forgot because there's no motorsport themed events in the career mode.
That was incredibly sarcastic.
Yes.
And you're right. I keep forgetting about that. So as a refresher, as a refresher, if you keep fading in and out of paying attention to the show while you're driving or something, I don't have this game still because I can't play it on the original Xbox One.
Correct.
I thought I could. I thought it was optimized for the new ones. There was not any messaging saying, to at least that I saw, that said I can't play the game. I'm hesitant to do cloud gaming because it sounds like the biggest piece of garbage ever, but my experience is limited just because I played on your Xbox for like literally 30 minutes. That's it. Okay? The career mode, from what I know and what I understand and what I've seen, the fact that there isn't any like career motorsport themed races of any sort, like no GT, no like Supercars Challenge, no GT3, no prototypes, none of that.
In the career.
In the career, which is what most people want to play and we're looking forward to, is absolutely disgusting.
Yeah.
Nothing short of it. That should be the only game mode. There should be no other game mode. Every other class, if you think about it, if you had to pick one, okay, I can only race with one class for the entirety of the game. Will it be D class? No. C, B, A? No. S? Maybe not. I would wager most people, if they had to pick one, It's the racing class because it's a fucking motorsport game.
Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah. Well, even with the car pass, did you see the first 6 cars that they're releasing in the car pass?
I did. They're motorsport cars.
5 out of the 6 of them are motorsport cars.
Which I was down for most of them too.
Yeah.
I think we reviewed that in the last show.
No, because they haven't released it yet. They didn't release this first 6 cars.
Isn't it like the Oldsmobile and all that?
No, that's the day one.
Oh, I liked those cars.
The day one.
I don't know these other ones you're talking
pack.
about. That.
Yeah. So the car pass is something that you get if you have the premium edition or the
and you pay all the money and you
whatever,
shell out like we normally do.
Exactly. So 5 out of the 6 cars are actual motorsport cars.
Okay. Are they good?
Okay, so I have the car pass calendar from October 5th to November 11th.
Okay, let's hear it.
Okay. So October 5th is the 2018 Volkswagen Golf GTI Experion Racing, whatever.
Don't care.
October 12th, this is the 2019 Dodge American V8 Road Racing Time Attack Challenger.
Is it a Pikes Peak kind of car?
I have no idea. We're going to have to Google
could be
a
interesting.
picture of it.
Could be interesting. Okay.
But it's a 2019 Challenger.
If it's a Time Attack car, it could be cool. All right, fine.
Yeah. The October 19th is the 1999 Nismo Clarion R391, which is an old Nissan racing car, whatever. I don't know what it looks like. I'm sure it'll be cool.
Whatever.
The October 26th week is going to be the only road car in the first 6, which is the 2020 BMW M2 Competition Coupe.
Meh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of cars like that I drive. I probably will never drive that car, but okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I'm curious.
It's okay. It sounds all right.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Not my first pick, but it's not terrible.
No.
The November 2nd week is the 2019 Orca number 38 Jackie Chan DC Racing Orca.
Orca.
Yeah.
So it's probably an LMP2 or LMP3 car.
Probably,
Something like that. That's cool. Okay. I dig that. Prototype.
Yep. And the November 9th week is going to be the 1991 Ford Roush Raceling Whistler Mustang.
91 Mustang race car sounds stinky.
I'm curious,
but I bet you it's stinky.
Are you going to Google a picture of it?
My interest level is beyond low, but I'll do it anyways.
Okay.
1991
Roush Racing Whistler. I'm curious to see. I want to get my reaction off of you.
Oh, this stupid thing. Yeah.
Wait a second.
It's okay. It's an IMSA car. I know this car.
Okay. Oh yeah.
It would be
looks like
fun.
A Ford Taurus.
See, this is the thing with these cars. There was a Nissan, I think, years ago that was from that exact same class of car that same year.
Yeah.
They're fun. It's just, what's the purpose for it going to be, right? So that's my problem with it.
Yeah.
If you have a vintage prototype or vintage IMSA category on some, I don't know how you would do it, given that there's no way to do it right now.
Yeah.
But if there's a way to incorporate like vintage race cars of that spec, down. Awesome. So into it.
Yeah. Well, that's going to be the same spec as that Oldsmobile Cutlass.
Yeah, exactly. Right. But if you go, oh, we're just going to do race cars. Like if that's what they end up adding is like motorsport cars and that's the category.
Yeah.
Kill me.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm never going to pick it. I'm going to pick, I don't know, any car made in the 2000s, somethings. Yeah. Because it will obliterate that.
Completely.
And if that comes down to class racing of like, oh, it's in, well, I don't even know what classes we're on now.
That's probably going to be an R class.
R something. I still keep thinking there's an R4. So I'm not the authority to ask.
It's
just the R, yeah.
EDCBASR
X.
PX.
Oh yeah, P. It'll probably be P or something.
I think that'd be R. I think that'd be in the same.
All I know is stupid because it's going to come down to class racing, and it's going to be you pick this class and you pick this performance index and whatever. And I'm never going to pick that car.
I agree.
Which is a shame because actually I'm starting to remember more. I'm pretty sure it sounds wild. I'm pretty sure it sounds cool.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
I bet you that thing has a big old turb ski strapped to it.
Yeah, I'm curious to see the cars that used to race against because I think there was some cool stuff. But anyways, I'm going along with this. That's a big problem.
Yeah.
You've got all these motorsport cars that you're adding to the game, and there's nowhere for them to go.
Correct.
Where are they going to go?
Correct.
What are they going to do?
Now, I know we talked about a couple other things that weren't necessarily great. One of the things that they did bring back, the paddles in the cars actually move. and it's not, you're not trying to do a reach around.
But
on
see,
some
that
dude.
statement is a bit like my boyfriend beat the wheels off of me last night with a baseball bat, but he got me a McFlurry afterwards.
No, I know.
It's a bit like that.
I know.
It's a bit like, oh, the paddles move. It's like it was supposed to move the whole time.
No, I get that.
You
I get
fixed
that.
a bug. You should not be giving them credit for fixing a bug.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, when it comes to this is how in depth we have to be to find a compliment.
Positive, yeah.
To find
It's
a
true.
compliment on this car. Like, cool, the paddles move. What else is there? Well, there's a couple new wheel options. You have I don't know why they decided to give us 3 variations of the TE37, because you can't even look from the side. You can't change the point of view when you're upgrading, which is stupid. What's the point of adding?
Why
all
remove
these,
that?
Why remove it? There's some new HRE wheels. There's some new Volk wheels. There's some new work wheels.
I just don't care about wheels.
No, I know. But the thing I will give them is they didn't add any of those stupid Vorsteiner wheels.
Thank God.
Because no one asked for 20 different Vorsteiner wheels, all of which look mid.
They're mid. You don't do
mid.
anything. You're just doing that to say, oh, there's 5,000 wheel options.
Exactly.
2 of them are good.
Yeah, I don't care about any of those.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
They
Still no manufacturer wheel options, by the way.
No, they did do a couple nice things with the body kits. So they added a couple different body kits. They added some new, stuff like that.
But the body kit stuff is almost drift related. It's an aesthetic thing.
It is an aesthetic thing.
But like it's functionally sort of supposed to be for what? People who like offset,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And people who like drift events.
Yep.
And drift cars.
Or stance events or stuff like that.
There's
Yeah.
no
There's
drift
nothing like that.
cars.
I know.
For some reason.
I know.
I'm not a drift guy, but that ticks me off.
It's
The
true.
best drift
And the
car
fact-
they've ever put in the game, by the way, in my opinion,
Yes.
is that Drift Viper.
Oh,
In any Forza
yeah.
game. That's my favorite.
Yeah.
That's my favorite
The
one.
Oracle.
Awesome. Love that
Oh
car.
my God. Yeah.
But that's just something I'll add in is like, cool, you did body kits, but there's no game modes. There's no drift cars. There's no open lobby for drift stuff, which is
or
insane.
track days or open track meetups or anything like that. There's no open space.
Yeah,
like the airfield.
why can't I? Yeah,
There's nothing
exactly,
like
dude.
that.
The airfield. You know how many hours we had in Motorsport 5 of just drifting around and taking pictures and fucking I don't know any of that stuff, right?
Yeah.
You go on the airfield and you just mess around a little bit. You do drag stuff, whatever, right? That was the whole point of the open lobby
I
stuff.
met so many of good motorsport friends
Yeah,
through doing that.
Yeah, good guys. Yeah, you just be hanging out, shoot the shit, right? Like that was the best.
Yeah.
So I don't know why you don't do that. What is the holdup over 6 years? Again, and I'm going to keep using that. That's my crutch.
It's true.
It's 6 years.
6 years.
It's 6 years, and you're removing stuff. Why are you doing this?
Yeah. I did. Who was it? Honestly, I think it was Eric Ship. And he mentioned how if the Forza developers, the one thing that they were talking about for Forza Motorsport 5 is there were some assets, tracks, and cars that did not live up to the standards that they have, so they cut them from the game temporarily.
Right.
That's why they didn't have the Nürburgring at launch, is because the scan that they had of the Nürburgring was so inaccurate that they could not try to add polys or retexture it or anything like that to make it usable in Motorsport 5. So they had to omit it and then bring it back as a free DLC later. It's the same thing with some of the cars that they added. They had to get those rescanned and whatever the case is. If they did that for Motorsport 5, why didn't they do that for half of the shit in this game?
It's true.
Why
skill issue. Simply a skill issue.
Why are half of the cars in this game looking like they came from CSR 2?
Yeah, they look like an iPhone game. A lot of cars in the game do. Straight up.
It's just, I don't know. And another, like so many small things, I'm going to just, start speed listing a couple of these things because we're running out of time.
Yeah.
The rim sizing on a lot of the cars from stock, from factory, looks way too big.
Yep, I'd agree with that.
Take a look at the wheels on the F-Type R Coupe. They're massive.
Yeah, they look like a concept car.
I know. It looks like there's 23-inch wheels on that thing.
Yeah, I know.
Which they're not. Rear wheel steering on a lot of the cars. Cars that are supposed to have rear wheel steering. The rear
Has
wheels
Forza had rear wheel steering before?
in Horizon 5.
So that's a garbage excuse.
Yep.
Okay.
Rear wheel steering does not work in the new Motorsport game.
Nice.
Yeah, just the fact that the banner selection from Forza Motorsport 7 is no longer in the game. You can't pick a little
Meaning like your little tag
the
thing
little tag emblem logo thing. So
on multiplayer,
the only thing that you have now is a little crown. If you got the VIP stuff, whoa, whoop-de-doo, good for you.
You got scammed.
Yeah.
You just got scammed, buddy.
Yeah. So if you see someone with a crown in online racing, you can just laugh at them and be like, ha, you're an idiot because you spent money on this game.
Scammer gets scammed, buddy.
Scammer gets scammed.
Yeah.
The stats menu that you would normally find in cars where you can see distance driven.
Yeah, your all-time stats for a couple things
stats
too.
For anything. That does not exist.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist in a motorsport game.
I liked checking that too to see
Oh my God,
time
I
in
know.
certain things,
Yeah.
time on tracks. It was cool.
How many
you do
hours I've raced, how many podiums I've had, how many races I've
yeah,
entered.
you do it like twice a year.
Yep.
You do like twice a year just to check on it, and it'd be really cool.
Yep.
And it is
Distance driven. I
Yeah,
want to see
super
how many
easy.
miles I've driven since the beginning of me playing this game.
Yep.
I want to see that I have driven, 32,000, however many miles
Yep.
around tracks because
like
that feels cool. I think that feels really cool.
Yep.
The fact that the menu and user interface and all that stuff needs a major overhaul is unacceptable. And the fact that Forza Motorsport themselves had to make a tweet telling people how to skip practice.
Oh my God. Don't even get me. Yes. Yeah. Forza made a tweet saying, if you're interested in skipping practice, perchance, then but this is what you need to do. And everybody's replying like, why do we have to do this?
Yeah.
And it's confusing to get there. It's confusing, like why, like
Because you have to go to exit.
You have to enter the practice, and then you just immediately quit. Where it's like, why can't I just skip
it?
Like F1, the game has like you can skip FP 1, 2, 3, and quali if you really want to,
And just go straight to the race.
and it's admittedly a game that has a lot less resources available
Yeah.
than Turn 10.
Oh, yeah. And Microsoft.
Like Brother Bilo, my brother in Christ, Bone and Brain developers at Turn 10 to play that. Again, same thing. I don't think they've played this game. I don't think anybody has actually booted this up. I think they must all have the original Xbox One, and they weren't able to play this game before it went out. And that's the whole problem here, is the Office Xbox was outdated, and they weren't able to get an Xbox One X or something like that.
Yeah.
Because nobody's played this game. If you played it, literally the practice stuff got old after the first one. After the first free practice that was mandated, I was tired of it.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't care. I know Mugello well enough. I don't need to practice this again.
Oh, I know. And like I get it. It makes sense when it comes to
It should be a quali.
Yeah.
It should be a 2-lap shootout quali.
And you know what I think? So one of the things that we mentioned, this is you have the practice, but there's no quali.
Which is stupid.
But you also get to choose your starting point on the grid.
Yes.
And I think that is something that's nice, but at the same time, I think you should have to do a quali, like you do, like you said, a 2-lap quali shootout.
Yeah.
Where you do 2 laps, or if it's a very long track, you do 1 lap, and that determines your grid position. And then from there, you can choose if you want to start lower to increase the credits that you get at the end of the race.
Yeah, you can pick to put yourself further back, but there's still credit for qualifying first.
Correct.
There's a purpose to do that. Yep.
Correct.
I'm with that. Maybe you got a score bonus or something like that.
Yeah.
If
you start further back.
No, if you quali first, then it's like,
okay.
well, any credits you get in the race, you get like a higher percentage of it.
Yeah, yeah.
Or you do like whoever qualifies first, you put fourth, and then the 4 slowest cars you put at the front of the grid. So then there's forced passing.
There you go.
Right? You could do something like that too, because there's a lot of people who do like the championship leaders in a series. They start at the back and it's a reverse order, right? So whoever's last in the series starts at the front, and then that grid has to switch at some point. It's a lot more chaotic.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Literally any of those are better than do a practice and then pick wherever you want to start.
Yeah. Because
What's the point?
You cannot choose the front of the grid. Like position 1, position 2, you cannot choose it.
So it's like,
no matter
okay,
how fast your lap time is.
because they go, well, yeah, you shouldn't be able to pick. You shouldn't be able to pick anything. If you have the foresight to be like, you can't pick the front because that would be unfair, you shouldn't be allowed to pick anything.
Yeah. And you're basically saying, for those who want credits, if you start further back, you get more credits. That extra 4,000 credits, I don't care about because I have the VIP.
You just gave me 500,000 for opening up my Xbox.
Exactly. I have the VIP. I make 2 times credits anyway. Why do I care about an extra 4,000 credits?
Could care
don't.
less.
I'm going to start in position 3
Yes.
at every single race. I'm going to turn my difficulty up to 8, and I'm going to start in position 3 every single race, and I'm just going to shoot past the front of the grid and dominate the race. But it's not fun if you do that.
And then you got to remember the AI is broken. So if you start at the back, you're not going to be able to get to the front.
I'm not going to be able to get to the front
because everybody's slamming into you, and the first 3 cars are already on Mars by the time you get to corner 4.
Yeah, I'm going to get to corner. I'm going to get to the first chicane in Le Mans.
Yes.
And the people in first are going to be passing.
Race is over. You're finishing 4th at best.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do. You could you could have a perfect race.
Correct.
Wouldn't matter.
No, I know, and it's stupid. But anyway, there are so many different things. The photo mode stinks. There's less options.
Does stink.
There's less options than Horizon 5.
Can't change time of day.
You can't change time of day. You can't
weather?
change weather. You can't do any of that stuff. And another thing that pisses me off is if it's raining, you cannot put water on the lens like you could in Motorsport 7.
Jesus Christ, man. Could you put it on in 6 too?
That I can't remember. It's been too long. It's been too long since I played 6.
Might be able to.
But I don't know. There's so many mixed reviews about this game on Steam.
Okay.
On Steam, 47% of the reviews are positive.
Okay.
53% of the reviews are negative.
Yes. So, do you want to hear my opinion on this?
Yes.
Because this is something I had talked about earlier. Is there any other platforms that have positive reviews right now? Or is that mostly just Steam has that discrepancy?
Oh no, it's all over the place.
Okay.
It's all over the place. You get 3 out of 10s and then you get 9 out of 10s.
Here is my 100% correct, accurate. If you disagree with me, you're wrong. R.I.P. Bozo.
Okay.
The works, right? Yep. To anybody, if you're listening, you disagree, take a hike because this is true.
Okay.
Any positive review that's out there right now is either somebody where it's their first game, somebody who got it for free, or somebody who was incentivized to say something, with a huge emphasis on the third point I just made there. Everybody who has talked about this game so far, who's had something good to say about it, with any kind of authority or following or whatever, is clearly incentivized by the brand to do so, and is a big, fat bootlicker. And that's straight up. I've seen people like AR12 have some pretty negative things to say about it.
Yeah.
And he's a guy who's a major bootlicker. Size 12 boot right through his mouth every single time. Right? Guy loves it. He eats up everything. Turn 10 and Playground says, oh my goodness, you guys did such a good job with the game every time. And for him to say negative stuff, that is your barometer. Because that guy sold his soul to that game a long time ago.
Oh, yeah.
So for him to say negative stuff, that's your indication.
Need to start rethinking what you're.
That's your indication. Because if he's willing to risk that the relationship he has with the game, because that's what he's doing, he's risking that relationship by saying negative stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Don Juan Song, Hoki Hoshi.
Don Juan, I think when something's really wrong, he says it too. Right.
Yep.
But AR12 is a guy where if there's something wrong, he will go out of his way not to say it.
Because he will avoid it for as long as possible.
Because he's a little bitch boy. Right. There's a lot of people out there that are little bitch boys that support the game.
Yeah.
And the developers get away with that just by giving them free consoles and free controllers and free Hot Wheels packs and free codes and all this crap. And people don't want to lose that. People don't want to lose the things they get. Why do you think all these little influencers, micro-influencers that have 500 followers, 1,000 subs, they get all this free stuff.
Yep.
And those are the ones that are suddenly leaving reviews. And then that's why you're at this 47% or whatever on Steam.
Yep.
Because you're getting those guys to talk about it.
Yep.
And then the immediate people that they follow or that follow them are giving these reviews.
Yeah.
It's the only reason. Anybody with a brain knows that the past 4 games they put out are better. 7, 6, 5, and 4 are better games.
Correct.
3 is debatable. I like it better from nostalgia reasons, but you have a game that's over 15 years old.
Yeah.
I think, right? That's better.
Yeah. 2009?
It's getting there. Fundamentally, that is a better game, for sure.
Yes.
Functionally, I don't know. But the fact I'm even debating that is gross.
Yeah.
But that is why you have mixed reviews here.
Oh, I mean,
because they're inauthentic.
Track-wise. I can't even compare the tracks in Motorsport 3 because you have the New York City circuit.
New York City, fantastic.
Yeah.
You have Camino Viejo.
Yeah,
or whatever.
Camino Viejo de Montserrat.
Yep.
Amalfi Coast, Fujimi Kaido.
Yep. It's unmatched.
Nürburgring.
Sebring.
For
For Christ's sake. Road Atlanta, the ever rare Road Atlanta course that has never been seen in any other. Oh, sorry, has been in every other game.
Yeah.
May I say? Same with Sebring. This is the first game that hasn't had Sebring in any Forza Motorsport game. Period. So, anyways, as far as reviews go, it's just, to me, it's a whole lot of shilling. I think Forza's always got a lot of that, more credit than they deserve. Yeah. But I think people are so mad about this that this has got to be the worst reviewed Forza full stop game that's ever been put out. Yeah. I have never seen a Forza game get this bad reviews. Yeah. Any of them. Yeah. So that's my take on that. It's very strong, but it's true. Our listeners know, our ever loyal listeners that also have just as negative opinions as we do. Yeah, we don't shill. We will never shill. Yeah. Right? It just won't happen. No. We'll be honest.
And you know what? It's even if this game, because that's your opinion. I agree with it. I completely agree. Yeah. And I do want to give mine as well, which is again an opinion. But I want to elaborate on what you just said. We are going to be honest. 100%. If this game came out and it was flawless, except for one or two things, we would be mentioning those one or two things. You can be damn sure of it.
Absolutely.
But if this game came out and we were genuinely blown away and we couldn't really find anything bad to say about it, we'd be honest about it.
Yeah.
Because we're just as excited about these games as you guys are.
And we have nothing to lose.
We don't.
Right? We don't really have a relationship with the game anymore.
No.
Right? They don't follow us. They don't interact with us. So I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
But the thing is, we care about this game. I've been doing this account for 10 years. Aaron's been with Forza World for 7, I think. Something like that. We do this because we like the game. We do this because we're fans and we want to support it. And we want to support the fans and the community and the photography and everything that comes along with it because we care, because we dig it.
Yeah.
We do this out of the love for the game, the negative 100%. Stuff. And that's where you're right. If it was a perfect game except for one or two things, we would still mention it. We wouldn't shill this because it doesn't matter to us if we shill it or not.
No.
What matters is doing something that I don't think you get barely ever in the Forza community, which is authenticity. And I don't think you get that very often.
And genuine criticism.
Yeah. Genuine, right? And praise, right? Like I think we talk about things that maybe most people don't praise either. But that's just kind of how we roll. You know, like that's our vibe. That's why we do this, is just for the authenticity, to be different, to have that personality, not to do it just to be different, to do it because that's just us. This is literally, you just put a mic in front of my face. This is how we would have been talking over a beer anyways.
Irrelevant to whether or not we have a microphone in front of us when we're talking about.
We're not putting on a show. This isn't a show.
This is just surprise. This is the person you're talking to. Yeah. Welcome to the Forza World podcast.
People need to know this. Yeah. Right? People need to know just how much of a piece of crap this game is. Yeah. They need to know that car models are exactly copied and pasted, regardless of the constant parading around in every E3 Gamescom thing that they had the opportunity for, to talk about, how hard it is to make car models, and that's why the game was delayed.
We've been rescanning tracks. Every single track has been rescanned. Every single car has been
because they screwed it up. Whoever was doing the scan was clearly whammed out of their mind in Japan.
Oh yeah,
and did it wrong.
Yeah,
like very clearly, all of
someone's modeling. Got their iPhone flashlight on as they're trying to scan the front of that McLaren. Be like, looks right.
But they clearly lied about this.
Yeah.
Because that was the whole reason they said they're delayed. Oh, we need to get this right. The car modeling is such a difficult thing to do, and it takes so much time.
It's such an important piece of this game that we want to make sure that it's done properly.
And then you basically buy the car modeling from Forza Street. Give me a break. I said that as Aaron was having a drink, by the way, so that was perfect timing. But it's true. Forza Street looks better than this game.
It's true.
And the Forza Mahjong thing.
Oh, I know. The Candy Crush of Forza.
What's that called? Forza
Customs.
Forza Customs. I don't think we've talked about Forza Customs very much. Haven't. It's awful. It's just a Connect 5 game or something like that.
Candy Crush, yeah.
It's terrible. But,
so, opinion-wise on this game, this is...
I called this.
Yeah.
He.
Told you so.
I knew how. I didn't know it was going to be this bad, but but I knew it wasn't going to be great. We called this. We knew it was going to be similar to whatever happened in Motorsport 5.
Yeah.
It had all the exact same ingredients.
Yeah.
And look how it turned out. Just a shit stew.
Yeah. Now, opinion-wise, if you like the driving aspect of a racing game, If you are here for the driving, if you are here for the way the vehicles handle, if you are here for the way that you want to genuinely experience how these cars drive on a track,
Yep.
and you don't have a PC setup with, a $2,000 graphics card and, a movement setup, and you are just here to experience the best possible way for a car to handle on track on a controller, I genuinely push you to play this game, because as a feeling, it is fantastic.
Yeah.
The response that you get, the way the car
It's the
makes
best
you
physics
feel,
of any Forza
it
ever.
is the best physics of any Forza game ever, period.
Yes.
Full stop. That is the reason why I'm still playing this game, is
Yes.
because I am addicted to the way these cars feel.
Yeah.
And having the opportunity to have driven some of these cars in real life, i.e. some of the 911s, some of the Boxsters, some of the McLarens, it's exactly how you would expect these cars to drive. So if you haven't had the opportunity, know that this is how they actually feel.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
So it's very, very well done from a physics standpoint. From a weather standpoint, from a day-night standpoint.
Just grip.
They did a fantastic job. Absolutely applaud them in every way for that. My issue is everything else.
It's basically like going to a restaurant and giving a lot of credit for the cutlery.
Yeah,
And
but
being
the
like
meal is absolute dog shit.
everything else that was on my plate was terrible.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed the chopsticks.
Yeah.
like that's what it was.
You have
Chopsticks
some
was
of
a
the
nice
most
touch.
comfortable cutlery I've ever held in my life. And
It's
it
a
is-
bit like that. The
Yeah.
expectation should be that the physics are good. That's the bones.
Yeah.
So no, I'm with you though. The physics are great. The limit of grip, it's very apparent the differences between front wheel drive, rear wheel drive, and all wheel.
Yeah.
The relationship with G and elevation going into a corner
Or coming out of the corner.
is shocking compared to other Forzas.
Yep.
But it's funny because it's actually more of what you would expect. So I think you can adapt really quick to what the physics are because they're
Predictable.
they're almost in a way predictable, right? Like
Yeah.
it's real. And if you go into that corner understanding with what car you have, like I have no anti-roll bars, it's front wheel drive, it's heavy as hell, you can predict what it's going to do, right? If I go in with a Viper, I know I'm going to have snap oversteer for sure. And I'm going to be fighting it, right? Especially with the new steering. But I'm with you. It's not enough. And I think that's going to be something where it's when, not if. When will I get bored of that?
Yeah.
Right? Or more specifically you, because I'm not buying this piece of crap anytime soon. That's for sure.
And another thing that has been in the back of my mind since booting up the game and starting it, if Forza is aware of these issues, which after all of the social media posts, after all of the
I'm
people
sure they
that
are.
I'm sure they're aware. So I'm speaking from a point of view where they are aware that the issues exist.
Yes.
How long is it going to take, or will they end up fixing these issues?
I think it's how many issues are they going to fix? Because
But that's my concern. It's like, if you look at the bug list, if you look at the issues on Forza support, all of those issues that people are having in the game, it's been out for 5 days.
yeah.
The game has been out for 5 days, and there's about 13 pages of
Yeah, it's a
known
lot.
issues in the game.
With several posts and replies in each of those threads.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
There's a lot of
dozens,
issues.
dozens.
There's a lot of issues. So I understand. I know for a fact Forza's aware of this. I know that for a fact.
yeah.
When they're looking at this amount of issues, are they looking at it like people are still playing the game, so let's just fix some of them? Or is it we really dropped the ball on this? Let's swallow our pride and take a step back and fix what people are asking us to fix.
Well, I can illuminate the situation a little bit more for you. I don't think Forza has ever made changes to a game like just the fundamentals, right? They'll fix bugs.
Yeah.
They'll do that.
Yeah.
I don't think they've ever changed game modes or changed the aspects of the user experience because people don't like them. Or I don't think that's ever happened. They've added some elements to photo mode. They've improved certain things, but I don't think they've ever just outright completely changed something, right? So many of the things we talked about is just stuff they got wrong. Their upgrade system is dog shit. if you're a developer and you're listening to this and you're responsible for that, you're a Muppet. Muppet. No excuse. You're an idiot. You should be fired, and I'm sure you'll be fired soon. 100%, right? And I actually hope somebody hears that from Forza, because that's extremely harsh, and it's true. Just get applying. Get that resume dusted up. I don't think there's ever, like, that would be unprecedented, right? There's a lot of things that they'd have to change to be unprecedented. As far as bugs go, I have no doubt they'll fix those right away. I just point to what you said about people are still playing the game. There is an unbelievable ego with this game from a development standpoint. Yep. Unbelievable ego.
Yeah.
I've heard it. I've seen it. The notion of, well, it doesn't matter because we have some of the most amount of monthly players, some of the most amount of plays in Xbox history. I believe they still hold the record for the most played game in Xbox history with Horizon 5.
I think so.
I believe that's still the record. If not, it's number 2, right? Ever.
Yep.
That's because of Game Pass.
Oh, 100%.
Right? This is a game that has been heavily crutched from it being on Game Pass and being promoted, and it's just a base level stat that has nothing else to it, right? Has nothing to do.
I would love to see longevity stats.
I played Horizon for less than 24 hours. Horizon 5.
Yep.
I'm a VIP holder. I'm all that stuff. But all they see is, oh, this guy bought VIP and he played the game. Who cares? So I think that is going to be the wake-up call. And I don't know if they will. I don't know if they will change it, because there is such a heavy ego with that, and it depends on the plays. And I don't think they've ever looked at longevity before. So I think it's going to depend on what happens after their first update, after the first change, because it's going to be a lazy-ass piece of garbage update. You better believe it, right? It's going to be the laziest piece of garbage you've ever seen in your life. If people still don't come back after that, that's when they're going to start panicking, because that means you're not going to get DLC. That means you're not going to have people buying if there's an expansion, something like that. And there will be. That's what their worry is, because this is a long-term game. This is a game where you're going to have endless add-ons. It'll probably be around for 5-6 years, and they're just going to keep building onto it, right? But that initial taste is so important for any brand. And if there's a bad taste in your mouth about this, it's really hard to pull people back in.
Oh, yeah.
And they just fumbled big time.
Yep.
And you pissed off a lot of communities too.
Yeah.
The drift community, right? I don't know how they're going to feel about this. I don't know how you're going to feel about people like myself that you didn't really do a good enough job of letting them know. I have a Forza podcast. How did I not know that the original Xbox wasn't going to work? Why are you branding it with optimized for S and X rather than only for X and S? Ridiculous. Why wouldn't I just go out and buy a PlayStation and buy Gran Turismo? It looks way better. It's a better game. Right now, no question. Gran Turismo's a better game.
Yep.
I've never said that ever.
No.
Every single time I've always said Forza is a better game than Gran Turismo in some way. Right now, absolutely not. It's not even close. The last Gran Turismo game is better than this current Forza.
Yeah, Gran Turismo 6.
And you've got Solar Crown coming out.
Oh, I know. That is going to be the make or break. I genuinely think
a lot of fans that play arcade kind of games that play motorsport as well.
Yeah.
And they have no problem abandoning physics and your garbage ray tracing and all of this stuff to go play Solar Crown because it's a more fun game. You have 2 games, 2 options for people. And you have somebody like me that can buy a whole other console. I can do whatever I want with my money. And right now, I don't know why I would go buy a new Xbox. And cloud gaming, sure as shit, is going to be terrible. I'm sure. It's going to be way too laggy. Every time I've used it, it's too laggy. And I'm not going to buy the game. I'm not going to buy Game Pass right now. I let my Game Pass run out. I don't want to renew it right now.
Yeah.
No interest in it. I only play Forza. I own all the other games on disc. What the hell do I need to do any of this for? Let them sort it out. So, big problems, right? To answer your question, I don't think they resolve much in the first update. We should make some sort of bet on that, but I don't think they'll do very much.
They'll update some of the bugs. Like they'll go through that list.
Bugs.
And they'll update.
Not structure.
Yeah, they will update the bugs. They are going to try and polish the ever-loving shit out of the turd that they just dropped.
I just think there's so much that it's not even that it's wrong. Like, it's just you didn't do anything with the car models.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
It's not like it's a glitch.
They're going to be trying to polish this turd. Because what happened is they have spent the past 5.5 years working on a physics model, working on a tire model, working on a suspension model. At that 5.5 year point, they thought, oh shit, we need to still make a game. So at that point, that's where they grabbed their PC. That's where they grabbed everything else. And that's why when you look at some of the reveal stuff in early 2023, late 2022.
Yes.
You have unbelievable ray tracing. You have unbelievable, track.
Yeah, visual elements. Yeah.
The visual elements are fantastic in those showcases. And they've just completely shit the bed when it comes to the actual released product.
Now, was the rumor that they fired almost the entirety of the motorsport team true? Because there was a rumor going around, just to fill in the ladies and gentlemen, there was a rumor going around that about 3 years into development, Forza fired almost everybody that was involved with the development of the game. It's a big rumor.
That I don't know.
I believe that to be true. I believe there was a big round of firing. I don't know how deep that got. But I had heard that it was due to a lack of progress. And then that, ended up being a big reason why the game was delayed. And then COVID didn't help. But I don't buy that for a fucking minute. COVID didn't dictate whether you have a bone in your brain modeling a fucking McLaren F1. It has nothing to do with it, right? COVID doesn't dictate a ass backwards upgrade system. COVID didn't do that. That's just a poor choice. Again, I don't know if that plays a role in things too, and you just ran out of time. It feels like for sure they ran out of time with this. But again, I just go back to decisions that they made that were work, that was actively like you needed to do extra work for this, that were stupid.
Yep.
It's not missing stuff necessarily, like it is, but there's also just stuff that is dumb that was added.
Oh yeah. And
right?
if it was to the point where in 2022 they said, "Hey, we want to release this game, but it's not ready." They
should have said that.
Yeah. If they came out and said, "We wanted to release this game at the end of 2023, but it's not ready." We would love to be able to show you what we have been working on for the past 6 years, whatever the case is, but it's not ready. We have the physics model down, but the physics model or the rest of the game does not match.
The physics are so much more advanced than the rest of the game.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we are going to delay this to a point where we don't know when we can release it, but we are not going to release it until we are thoroughly happy and proud of this game.
Yeah, you're able to put your logo on it.
Where we can sit back, look at this game, play it front to back, and think, yes, this is something that I am proud to put my name in the in-game credits.
Yeah.
Sure, we'll release it. And release it finished, for God's sakes.
Yeah. At least close.
Or, like, put Nürburgring in there. Nürburgring should have come out with launch.
Or Sebring. Or Road Atlanta.
Exactly. So, if that's the case, the car list instead, like we wanted to have 530 cars on launch day, but a lot of these cars we couldn't get scanned in time, or we couldn't get finished or polished or whatever in time. So we're only releasing, 315 cars.
I would
on
be
launch
okay
day.
with them releasing 80 cars.
Yeah.
Truly.
Yeah.
If you look at Need for Speed games, how many cars were in those games to keep you happy with that? I'd be okay with it because you just do spec racing and you just master certain cars and you can use your stupid upgrade system for that and keep everybody happy.
Yeah.
If you have 59 cars that are perfect cars, I'm okay with that.
Yep.
If there's some form of progression, I shouldn't really care.
Yep.
That's how you
remodel the cars completely. Remodel them completely.
Everything. Hey, have you noticed any improvements with the sound?
With the sound of the cars?
Yeah.
Yes.
Better?
Yes.
Always?
I have not found a car that I have driven that I do not think is accurate.
I have a complaint.
Oh, okay.
I have a complaint. When there's that cut scene of the car leaving the pits.
Oh my God.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, there's a car like when you're about to start practice, I guess, there's like a cutscene of your car flying around the corner in the pits and it leaves the pit stall and everything. And it's just, I don't even know how to describe it. It's like in one gear. So the whole car like clearly is accelerating. Like you're clearly picking up speed, right? In the pit lane. And it just goes around the corner and just goes, it just sounds like somebody's flat outing the car, but it's gaining speed, which makes no sense because you're at the top of the gear.
Yeah, you got a CVT transmission when you're leaving the pit stop.
It sounds like a learn to drive person has gotten into a manual car and is just putting the transmission through the absolute paces. Yeah. It sounds terrible. But it doesn't even sound right. They have it in second gear. They have their foot planted and they're slowly releasing that clutch. And like where the car goes, it looks like it's on rails because like the the wheels don't match up with the direction the car's going in.
No.
It's outrageous. It's so comical.
It is.
But it looks terrible. It always sounds like crap. It doesn't sound realistic at all. One thing I will say...
In the cutscenes. In the cutscenes.
In the cutscenes, exactly. But I haven't noticed any issues outside of that. Actually, I thought it sounded quite good, everything I drove.
But
not enough.
It's not enough. Like we've been saying this entire time, it's not enough. From the point that we have been waiting 6 years for this game is not enough to justify the amount of work this game needs.
Yeah, this is going to be a long time. If it even ever gets to where it should be.
Correct.
Really, right?
Correct.
Like, that's a big if. I don't know, right? Like, there's a lot of stuff you have to piece together and cobble together.
Yeah.
It's not money I want to spend right now. If I'm giving suggestions to you guys, if you haven't bought it, don't waste a goddamn penny on this.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. Like, if you already have Game Pass, maybe, give it a shot just to complain about it, right?
You know what I would do?
But
I would wait. If you're going to think about spending money on this game, I would wait until you have the Nürburgring, and I would wait to see what the new Hakone full mountain circuit looks like.
Full mountain Japanese circuit.
Fujimi Kaido 2.0.
Are we going to drop this?
Because
are we going to drop this information?
Having driven the Hakone track, there are two exits, there's two ways to get in and out of this track. There's one at the end of the straight, which goes straight up into the mountains.
Yeah, there's a big arch over it.
And then there's one that comes at the back end of that straightaway.
Yes.
That comes into the track.
Suspiciously, it's towards the mountains. It's in Japan.
Yep.
And it's in the exact same prefecture or whatever.
As Mount Fuji.
Yep. Suspicious.
And if you search Hakone, or Hakone, however you pronounce it. Region. It is a mountain pass on Mount Fuji.
Interesting.
And I think there was an Instagram comment or something like that where someone asked if Hakone was going to replace Fujimi Kaido, and Motorsport
has favorited everything that has mentioned Hakone or Hakone being a replacement for Fujimi Kaido.
Yeah.
And there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
It's not a replacement. It's the 2.0.
Yeah, it's the next
This
version
is the
of it.
extension of it.
Yeah.
If you think about the old Montserrat circuit and how that connected with Ladera and, like, I don't know, there was another circuit in there somewhere too. That's kind of what this is.
Yep.
This is going to be another circuit that builds into it.
Yep.
And
just like
we have wanted to
to
drop that information for a while, right? We have been sitting on this for God knows how many months. But I do think this is a good time to let everybody know that it's going to be in the game.
Yep. There is going to be a long Japanese back road circuit in the game.
Yes. That's what we can guarantee you.
Yeah.
We can give the Forza World stamp of approval.
Seal of approval.
That is happening.
It may not
we know
be called Fujimi Kaido. It might be called something different, but it is going to be a long, twisting Japanese back road.
We have reason to believe it will be very similar, if not the exact same
as
idea, and I would assume it's the same name. Based on what we've heard, this concept is going to be in the game.
Yeah.
And that's how it's going to work.
Yeah.
So we're just letting you know it's coming.
Yeah.
Right? A long awaited track here. You heard it here first. Nobody has told
Nobody's figured this out.
Nobody's
figured this out.
Nobody has told you what we just told you. And it is October 10th, okay? There isn't
the
anything
day after Thanksgiving.
Canadian Thanksgiving.
I know.
Make-believe Thanksgiving. So we are telling you something that nobody has caught on to.
Yeah.
There isn't one person as of October 10th that has come up with this yet. Not one YouTube video, not one tweet, nothing.
And but the crazy thing that I don't understand is all the information's there. All the information
so
about
clear.
Them talking about Hakone replacing Fujimi Kaido, all of the information about Forza, strengthening that statement and replying and liking and favoriting and reacting to those statements.
Everything's quite obvious.
Everything is quite obvious. And then you race on the circuit and you see the two exits, or the exit and the entrance
towards the mountains.
Towards the mountains.
Why they could have put that track in the middle of a goddamn desert.
Yeah.
And it would have been the exact same. There is a reason, fellas, that track is so close to the mountains.
Yes.
And that the exits and entrances are facing that way.
Yes.
There's a reason it's the exact same region as Fujimi Kaido.
Yep.
There's a reason. So you've heard it here first. We had the scoop first. We've been wanting to tell you guys for a long, long time, believe me, but out of respect for sources, we couldn't drop that one until we knew for sure on our own accord that we knew how this was going to go down. And we figured out this.
Seen the game and seen.
We figured this out ourselves.
Yes.
Yes, we did. We had reason to look into it.
Yes.
And it is what it is, man. So I'm happy that people are going to be able to enjoy that at some point. I imagine that's going to pull a lot of people back into the game, along with Nürburgring as well. I bet you it's included in like a drift expansion.
I was just about to say that. I think that is going to be when they do the quote unquote free drift expansion.
Yes,
they're gonna launch it.
That's my understanding. That's what I'm inclined to believe at this point.
Yep.
I just hope it doesn't look like an iPhone game by that point.
Oh, I know.
You know?
Oh my God,
because there's some beautiful pictures that you could take. So yeah. I'm hoping they figure it out.
And the environment of that is going to be absolutely
next
incredible.
to none. It'll be the best, right?
Yeah.
Like Hakone, whatever, is already a pretty good looking track. In my opinion.
A beautiful circuit. I
very
wish,
photogenic.
I genuinely wish that was an actual circuit because the grandstands, that main area, is beautiful.
Yeah, it looks
would
great.
Love to go to a track like that.
And beautiful. Yeah, it's
holy
nice.
shit.
So I will start to close out the show with a couple more statements. One of the ones I want to make is how bad the marketing was for this game. It's something that we need to touch on. This is a special edition show, and we need to be thorough. That's the last piece of the puzzle here. The marketing was garbage. Everything about this. This was the only Forza launch I've ever not given a flying fuck about. Not excited at all. I got a refund for my early access because I couldn't even use it. Because I think we talked about this. I wanted a disc, but you can't get early access with a disc, but you can buy the early access online. But the early access didn't work right away.
Because early access doesn't
work for
cloud gaming.
Well, yeah, but it didn't work right away for Game Pass. There were some delays on that and some issues.
Yeah.
But then early access didn't work for cloud gaming anyways. And actually, I still don't have access to cloud gaming until tonight, I believe.
No, you have it now.
It was last night then.
It was last night.
So whatever, it's still garbage, right? So you could potentially be paying upwards of $50 to get this expansion, and there's no indication that it would do that and have that issue.
Correct.
Which is garbage. The marketing. Yeah, me not knowing, just saying that it's optimized for X and S is not enough. It should be only 4. They should have hammered everybody right away to be like, hey, you got to get a new Xbox. You got to get a new Xbox. And before everybody comes at me saying, Jason, it's a new gen game. Why would it work on an old gen console? Because Horizon 5 did. And Horizon 5 is supposed to be a next gen thing and should have taken that jump, and it didn't. And there was the same level of communication, which was none for both of these games regarding that. So I don't think that's good enough. I don't think, if you think about all the things they talked about, touting the physics, you look back on that in hindsight, it was the only thing they goddamn talked about was the physics. That's it. They didn't talk about the game modes because there is no game modes. They didn't talk about the graphics that much towards release because they realized they had to walk back a lot of the sentences and statements they made about ray tracing because it can't goddamn work on an Xbox. Even their top line Xbox, they can't do what they wanted to do with ray tracing. Correct. It's not capable of it because it's either a super inefficient model or it's just too strong.
A 1 meter radius around your car that actually works with ray tracing.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares? You're putting all the stress on something for something that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Why do the headlights on a Corvette look like they're made out of plasticine?
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense.
Why are plastic windows cracking when you get in a collision?
Yes, they're like shattering like glass wood.
Yeah.
Plastic side windows on a race car. Outrageous. Little attention to detail. Not even attention to detail. Not having an IQ that is the same as my shoe size, I would say, is like a big problem that I'm seeing.
Yeah.
But the marketing...
If you were wondering, it's a size 7. He's got women feet.
Yeah, okay. Which is even worse. So we can theorize. We could say that. Anyways, the point is the social media.
Yeah.
Garbage. Right?
Oh, terrible.
The social media coverage on this event, the inability to build hype around this game has been pathetic.
Yep.
I think I could name you 40 Instagram people that we know that could have done a better job themselves promoting that for Forza on their behalf.
Oh, yeah.
There was no excitement. The videos were trash. The introduction video was terrible. The branding sucks. They just dropped a bunch of merch today. That is the worst merch they have ever put out. And it's not even close.
It's bad.
Black and orange.
It's bad.
It looks like I rip cigs and work at a job site. Terrible, right?
Just put the car
They have it.
on there.
You can get a C-class branded cup, like a mug with the yellow C-class branding, performance index.
Yep.
Why would I want to do that? Who's going to not buy the X-class?
Yep. I have a slow car.
Why would you buy a C? So it's like the merch sucks. The branding sucks. The communication was so not transparent. They lied and lied about the ray tracing. They lied about the cars that were going to be in the game. They were talking about this Drift 370Z or 350Z or something like that, which is not in the game.
Yep.
Again, they did that recently with the Italian update and Horizon 5. They did that with a car that was supposed to be featured in the Hot Wheels pack.
Yep.
Wasn't actually in it. So it just seems, again, like you're too late on the draw, and the inability to build excitement with this game is the most disappointing part of the whole thing. It's a significant game, and it didn't feel like it.
And the fact, I think Forza forgot that it's been 6 years since they've released a game like this. This was their one chance. Like, I get it. I get that you knew for a fact you were going to disappoint the fan base.
You just got to tell people, man.
Like you knew for a fact when you started going through and you're like, oh yeah, you have 60 frames a second, 4K with ray tracing on the Xbox. This is what it's going to be capable of. And then having to backpedal and be like, oh, yeah, it's 4K. And you're like, oh, okay, cool. Can I do ray tracing in 60 frames a second? And they're like, yeah, those options are available as well. And they're just, they have weird wording with some of their stuff. And, if it was to the point where they came out at the end of it and said, hey, you know what? This isn't what it is. Like, we cannot do this. It's not possible. Like I said before, just come out, tell us what's fucked up with this game. And people are going to be a lot more open to buy it.
Like when we were calling to delay it and other people were commenting on the thing to just delay the game.
Yeah.
Right? I think right there, you need to understand that people would have been okay with waiting. We waited 6 years. It's okay. It allows you to build more hype.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Whatever.
And do it properly. Do it fucking properly.
This is literally just, and like, I think this is just a lot of arrogance on their part of, we'll release it. It's going to be a long-term game anyways. We'll figure it out as we go. We got to release something. Shareholder stuff. Xbox needs a flagship. Whatever, right? Not acceptable.
No.
Not acceptable.
And the only thing, and this has been the only piece of marketing that has ever stayed with me for motorsport for the entire time from the start of releasing things to the launch of the game, which has been a 3-4 year process of since they've started releasing content about this game coming out.
Yep.
Is the most recent trailer where you have a 911 and you have a Corvette racing around Laguna Seca, and the Porsche pushes the Corvette into the wall and takes the win.
Yes.
That is the only piece that has stuck with me, and that is exactly because of that race that actually fucking happened.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Back in, 2011?
Flying Lizard versus Team Corvette. Yeah, that's right. One of the greatest races ever.
One of the best finishes in the history of racing.
Yes.
And they put that in the trailer.
Yeah.
Which is unreal.
Yeah.
And I think that's really
motorsport.
That's motorsport.
Yes.
That's the shit that I want to see. I want to see stuff like that. I want to see, a CLK GTR coming down the back straight of Le Mans, catching air and then flipping up into the air.
Yeah.
In the trailer. That's what I want to see. I want to see stuff about that Flying Lizard car, taking that Corvette out into the corner.
Yeah.
I want to see, like dramatic stuff. I want to see things that have actually happened in motorsport races, because that's what I'm going to remember. That's what's going to get me excited about the game. Not you guys being like, ray tracing. Oh, we got physics. Oh, there's 4 tires on this car and they all work. So that's nice.
Yeah, it's stupid. It's just how out of touch they are with it. It's a little bit of arrogance as well to just release it and think that people are just going to play it regardless. And I think it is very unaware of the effect that it's going to have on the brand. This is so damaging to Forza as a brand. It's not good. And it's going to take a lot to get people to jump back into this. I can't even imagine, right? I can't even imagine the people who are like me and it's like, do I just buy a PS5? Like, this is the only game I play on, literally the only game, this, only game I play on Xbox is Forza.
Yeah.
I don't play anything else.
That's true.
Why, if I'm questioning that and I have an Instagram page and a podcast and a brand, that is a huge red flag. So I think the damage is
The damage
really,
is
really
done.
bad. And they need to take some major steps, and there's some changes that they're going to have to make to get it right and get it right fast. Because they will screw up this first update. We're always right with our predictions. We have a very good track record with that because we know how these guys operate.
So for reference, this is some Steam stats.
Okay.
Because this is on Steam. So this shows the plays. This is a day one thing for the stats of how many people have played the new Motorsport on Steam, right? All-time peak. So this is concurrent players. All-time peak. 4,685 for a day one launch. All time.
Oh my God. That's not good.
For a day one launch.
Yeesh. Okay.
Okay. Twitch stats. So this shows the viewers at an all-time peak.
Right.
Is 21,550.
Jesus, that's not good.
It's not a lot of people. And that's viewers.
Yeah.
So that's through all of the viewers, through all of the people streaming.
Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah. And it's showing store data. So it's number 16 in the top sellers, which isn't too bad for a day one launch. Like, it's not
for a flagship.
Not for a flagship
console-backed franchise.
Correct.
That's bad.
There are 232 positive reviews on this game. There are 262 negative reviews on this game.
That's not good.
With a 46.96 percentage towards the positive
Would you watch a movie that had a 49%?
No.
Yep, neither would I.
No.
I think they're in big trouble. What's your score so far? If you were to rank them out of 10, rank this game out of 10. You played it a lot more than I have.
If I was to give this a ranking, I'd probably give it a 4.
Really?
Yeah.
I'd give it a
honestly. 1. I'd give it a 4 just because of the driving.
I'd give it a 1 because I still have a reason to play it.
No, and that's fair.
Yeah, but I think I don't disagree with yours. I think a 4 is for how you play video games, for how you enjoy video games. I think it's a 4.
Yeah.
For how I enjoy video games, it's probably a 1. There's just not the physics could be the same as Mario Kart, any Mario Kart, I guess, and I would be okay with it if there was a reason for me to be playing it. That still isn't solved. We won't get into it. You can go back to listen to any show we've had and hear me talk about progression. It's still not there. There's still not a reason for me to play this game. Some reasons, but they're manufactured, gate-kept upgrade garbage that is just a deterrent, frankly. It's not interesting. It's like, what am I going to spend 5 hours of my day, very limited day with my job and with stuff I have to do, to unlock a street air intake for an MX-5?
Oh.
Why don't I put a pencil clean through my eye? Why don't I do that instead? I'd have just as much fun. Insane. So that's my ranking. That's your ranking.
That's my ranking.
Initial, right? Like we'll take a look and see what happens with updates. They're gonna have to do something fast, man. They got 4,000 people worldwide playing on Steam. That's not good. There will be a lot of scrambly meetings right now trying to get that number up. So some stuff's probably going to change, and we'll keep you guys updated. Whatever happens next, we will for sure have a podcast that responds to whatever that is. Next episode's going to be business as usual, though. We'll get back to the fun.
We'll get back to the segments.
Will be back. We'll be a little bit.
It'll be
more
wild
loose.
and crazy.
But this was a serious show, and it needed to be serious. And hopefully, it's on the up. Right? Hopefully, now it's a lot of positives with this game. We'll see. Probably not. But
it's Forza. What can we expect?
What do you expect? What do you expect at this point?
Yeah.
So, but you know what? If you enjoy the game right now and you're playing the game at home and you're having a good time, then that's cool too, man.
Yeah,
that's
good for you.
Awesome. I don't want to tell anybody how to think. I just want to tell people what we think, and that if you do have the same opinion,
it's an opinion.
And if you do have the same opinion as us, it's just being able to share that and to be heard.
Yep,
so,
exactly.
This game is a hot plate of garbage, and I hate it, and it stinks, and it's terrible, and it's not that fun. But man, oh man, are the physics ever good. So anyways, don't feel obliged to jump into it right now. Jump into some old episodes of the Forza World podcast. Check us out on Instagram. Do all that stuff. We'll probably have some stuff going out on TikTok. I know we're going to put finally these Puma shoes that we've ordered. Finally, we're going to put those on Instagram.
Yep.
Get some other stuff going. But but that's it for today. I hope you guys all enjoyed the most all-time negative Forza World podcast that we have ever done.
By a country mile.
By a country mile, the most negative show we've ever done. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know it was a little serious, but back to regularly scheduled programming in a couple of weeks here. So
back to your regular Muppetry.
Regular Muppetry in a couple of weeks. You heard it from Aaron. Thanks for joining us.
See you next time.